Hello Internet, and welcome to another episode on my DIY channel. Today I will show the build of a raised garden bed. If you are looking at this video, you might already know the advantages of a raised garden bed, but for those that do not know, here is a short summary. A raised garden bed, or simply raised bed, is a large planting container that sits on the ground. The container is filled with soil and plants and has no bottom or top. Besides several advantages, one important point is that it is easier to maintain, and because of a composting process inside, the bed creates a microclimate that supports the growth of the plants. Due to its construction, it keeps out critters and slugs, and you will have fewer weeds and grass between your plants. I will add a link to the video description to some sites with more detailed information on that topic. Raised garden beds are fairly easy to construct, and there are many different ways how to build a raised bed. You can use different materials and construction techniques, depending on your possibilities and not at least on your budget. In the end, it's more or less a frame. Here's how I built my raised garden bed in our garden, and I will share my experience in this video. And I will show also the things that I would change if I had to build it again. Here is my construction plan, based on a rough sketch. Later, I did a drawing in Fusion 360 for this video. I started the construction with the basic parameters of 2 meters length, 1 meters width and 90 centimeters height. The height can become a problem for shorter or taller people. As a rule of thumb, I would recommend to use a height that is 5 to 10 centimeters below the height of your waist, or better, the height of the waist of the person that is working on the raised bed most of the time. In my case, I designed the height with 90 centimeters. My basic design, based on 4 posts and some Douglas firewood profiled boards for the side walls. I chose Douglas wood because it is more resistant to decay if used outside. As you will see later in the video, I will use a drainage mat to separate the wooden walls from the wet soil in the raised bed. For the attachment of the side walls, I have chosen a sign with grooves and make the corner posts visible. But this is more a question of design. Actually, I wanted to mount the side walls hidden, screwed from behind. But this was too time consuming and I decided to use this version. The most easy way is to screw the boards directly to the posts, as I show in this example. The construction is just as stable, provided that the right wall thickness and screws have been chosen. But more about that later. We first cut the wood to length and cut all the components on the circular saw. Here is it useful to have a kind of a length stop. Since I do not have a meter saw, I first had to saw the long boards roughly to the desired length, and then we cut them to the exact length in a second pass. You should make sure to cut both ends of the boards and also the posts, because they are usually not square and clean when they leave the factory. For the boards of the sides, I have to set up a simple template with a stop, as you can see here. This way all the boards get the same length and the edges are looking good. I took a quick look at the posts and decided which sides to take on the inside. This is still another possibility to make nut holes or flaws in the wood to disappear. Then I marked posts for further processing. I inserted the boards into the sides of the posts, so the posts are visible afterwards. For this I milled grooves into the posts. The thickness of the boards is around about 19 millimeters, and I milled the groove 0.5 millimeters wider. I have converted my folding work table into a milling table. This is a very flexible solution and I'm very happy with it. There is a link to a video about the construction of this router table. In the video I had not yet connected the dust extractor, so the extraction of the chips was a bit cumbersome, as you can see, but in the end it worked. In the meantime, the dust extraction is directly connected to the router and it works very well. Have a look into the video and you can see the final product and how it is working. As shown here, the sideboards are attached to the posts with screws. Therefore, I drilled holes for the wood screws on the opposite side of the groove and screwed the boards to the posts. For this purpose, I measured the best positions for the screws in the profile boards and marked all holes of a post on a batten. I made sure that the screws for the long side and the head side are positioned with the offset, because the screws cross each other in the post. Of course, I took some self-drilling, or let's better say self-tapping wood screws. I pre-drilled all the holes for the wood screws to be on the safe side. This in mind, it is also better to countersink the screws into the wood. With the batten I marked all holes on the post. The advantage is that all screws on the posts now are at the same level and that looks much better afterwards. To speed up the marking, you can put all posts side by side and mark the position of the holes with the carpenter square, and of course using a marking gauge. I used 6 mm wood screws with a length of 100 mm. Using imperial measures, you can use number 10 wood screws with a length of 4 inches. By the way, a second accu drill is very helpful because you have to switch between drilling and screwing, and a second accu drill will save you a lot of time. Now it is time to assemble the short sidewalls. Actually, everything should be painted before, but yes, I didn't have much time and I was a little impatient. I also didn't have a long 5 mm drill to pre-drill the posts and the sideboards in one turn. Therefore, I had to assemble everything, drill the holes in the sideboards, take everything apart and deepen the holes in the sideboards. And yes, of course, then reassemble everything again. It would have been much easier if I had a longer 5 mm drill. But I know it for the next time. Make sure you assemble the profile boards in the right direction with the grooves facing downwards. It's clear, in this way no or only less water can penetrate between the wooden panels. Finally, let's have a look onto the posts. I left the posts a little bit longer because I was not sure about the final length before I preparing the ground in the garden. By the end of the groundwork, I knew how long the posts had to be. Then I cut them with the circular saw to the required length. Finally, the head sides and boards for the long side had to be painted. I used a plant and environmentally friendly high quality wood glaze for the painting. The wood glaze is pigmented with a chestnut color. I applied 2 or 3 coats and in between I let the applied layer dry. Between the first and the second layer I sanded the surface slightly with the 180 grain sandpaper. In between the layers always had to dry. This time could be well used to prepare the ground for the raised bed. For this purpose, some cleanup and construction work had to be done, and then the raised bed had to be built up. In the next part of this episode, I show the necessary groundwork, the construction of the raised bed with an insulation layer, as well as the filling up and the sowing of the plants. I think this will be another nice video for all interested people, and there are still some important points to consider, especially for the final construction. At the end I will also show a plan how we planted our raised bed. It shouldn't take much time until the second video part appears, because I currently edit both parts together. If you like this video, please leave me a like. If you are interested in DIY topics, woodwork and other design topics, I recommend to subscribe to my channel. If there are any questions, I will answer them if possible. Of course, I'm also happy about suggestions and constructive criticism. Please use the comment function below the video. So, all the best for you, have fun and success in building a raised bed. And as an old Star Wars fan, I would like to say,
may the radishes be with you.
Thanks for watching and ciao.